Hello, heroes. Welcome to this last of the How to Dream Like Walt Disney process that I'm sharing. It is the M of the dream process, and I'm sharing it specifically so you can use it for your 2024 New Year's resolutions. DREAM. Let's just review them really quick. D, dare to delight yourself. R, remember your magic. E, embrace failure. A, ask what if, and M, today, what I'm going to share is maximize your gift. So we know that Walt Disney was always thinking about his guests. You know, they're not customers, they're guests, and always thinking about how he can maximize their surprise and delight and their experience when they're interacting with his product, whether that's a cartoon or the parks or whatever it was. He was always trying to inspire hope and the feeling of magic and surprise and delight. And we actually know from research in psychology that when you focus on what you can give other people, you're able to access different regions of your brain that increase your creativity. So that's what I want you to do today when you think about your 2024 New Year's resolutions. I want you to think that at the end of 2024, December 31st, I mean, at this point, you've already done the other 4 steps of the process, so you probably have an idea in mind of what you're dreaming up. If something new comes to you today, great. You know, the whole point of this process is to open up the horizons of what's possible for you in 2024. The next step is to set the actual thing that on December 31st, how you will know that you've achieved that dream. You know, you actually pick the exact dream and how you will know you've achieved it. But the whole point of the dream process, like Walt Disney, like he was so good at, is expanding your horizons. So we got to get big before we get small. I shared in a different video. Walt Disney said, if you can dream it, you can do it, or there's some debate whether he did it, but said that. But the amazing life coach Martha Beck says, I don't know if that's true, but I do know it's true that if you do not dream it, you can't do it, right? So the point is to dream it up first, and then you can decide exactly the details of what you want it to look like on December 31st. But for this step of the process, that maximize your gift, I want you to consider, like I said, December 31st, 2024, and consider what you've created and consider the gift that it gives to the people you love or your guests, your customers, if it's a business school, or a greater community, or even just your pets. Just consider what else can be added to it that would make it even more of a gift that you can give, even to yourself, right? Like when we consider what we can give to ourselves, it even opens up that creativity. And that's so important. Um, like we are you are the most important person to you, right? Like your wellness is the most important thing. So if you can give yourself a huge gift and that opens up that creativity for you to think about what's possible for you for 2024, start there, right? Like that's the most important. And then expand it, like, okay, my pets, like my immediate family, my community, the greater, wider world, and just let your brain kind of wonder and get curious, like what could this give to the great, like me first, and what could this give to others, and what can I add to it that would make it have even more impact. So have fun. I know that that's why the first step of this process is dare to dream, because our mind, when we're pushing the possible, like the limits of what we think is possible for us, our mind is immediately gonna try to shut it down, because it's like, nope, not safe to go outside the cave, right? Like stay in your cave, stay with what you know. This is part of our survival brain, right? But we don't live in caves anymore. We don't need that part of our survival brain. So we can dare ourselves to push past that and dare ourselves to, it's okay if it makes you a little uncomfortable, right? Like what you're thinking. That's part of the growing, learning process. Like you don't grow if you're not uncomfortable. So if dreaming this big is making you uncomfortable, I'd say you're in the right spot, and allow your brain that discomfort. I know it can be hard, but just sit with it a little bit. Use my wand process. What am I feeling? Allow it. Name the thought that's causing the feeling. And then you get to decide whether that thought and feeling are helping you, or whether you want to let them be in the back seat, and which thought and feeling you want to drive your experience. And I always like to think of especially for a process like this. Like, in The Little Mermaid, when Ariel gets the reins of the carriage for the first time, like how curious and full of wonder and magic and excitement she is. Like, that's the kind of, that's why that's delight, right? Like, so that's why the first step of the dream process is dare to delight yourself, because you got to dare yourself to get there. And then when you can find the thought that creates that delight for you and keep on refocusing your mind there to dream big, that's when like you can like really push these possibilities of push the limits. And I always go back to this quote from Walt Disney: I resent the limitations of my own imagination, because he knew that that was all that was in the way of him creating what he wanted to, because again, he was okay with failing and all these other steps of the process that I've mentioned. So I hope you have a magical day. Thank you for listening in, and remember to maximize your gift. Thanks. Bye.